Hi, this is Kirsten. Meditation 101 6-week series, and this is for week 1, how to begin your meditation practice. Let's begin with the environment. Often when we are meditating outside, it's a wonderful place for us to be able to allow our inner being to connect with the subtle vibrations that are within in the environment, on our skin, in all of our senses. But what happens is when we are meditating in the environment that is like a cool windy fall day or a hot sun in the summer, they could take us away from the subtle vibrations from within. And it's not a good thing and it's not a bad thing. It's just notice where, as a beginner, you get blocked. And allow your environments not to dictate how you're going to feel inside. So one of the schools of thought is practice meditating in the chaotic places as well as the still places that you set up in your home that is conducive to a relaxing environment. But you don't want to rely on the external environment to dictate how you're going to feel inside. So the old school of thought was practice indoor. But I leave that up to you because you will know where you are in terms of being able to be conscious as you test yourself in all environments. So that is the first thing. So if you are going to set up indoor, ensure that you're doing so in a place that's private. The least interruptions, the better. If you have pets, children, or are nearby a street, go to the opposite side of the house or somewhere where you can shut off some of that external noise. However, if you are like me, and I used to, when I started off, I lived in a condo and there was no escaping a loud street window or the smell of someone smoking on their balcony. Allow that to be a part of your meditation. You will begin to be less attached to the unwanted and just notice what comes up. And if you do find that you're best meditating, go to a library, go to some place that is quiet until you get the hang of it. And then you can begin in those more chaotic environments and places. Another thing to remember is when we are sitting versus lying down. I highly recommend for people beginning to sit in a chair or have a meditation cushion if it is comfortable for them, if they're able to have that flexibility to cross their legs. There are bolsters, there are foam or cork blocks that you could prop up both knees to help you to lessen the tension on your hip flexors and your lower back. There are ways in which you can physically provide a comfortable meditation posture, because it's the more relaxed and calm your body, the more relaxed and peaceful your mind. So you really want to begin with a proper sit position. Another thing to think about is where we hold tension in our body. So become very aware at the physical where we hold tension. Begin to loosen up. Stretch out your leg, get comfortable. Also, allow yourself to sit in a position where your posture is straight versus lying down. If we lie down, we tend to go into an old pattern and associate that posture, that position, with sleep. So our mind and body will go into a sleep mode. So you want to be able to, when you begin, to practice sitting up. When we sit, we hold our posture, our spine, in a nice straight position. So the way in which we can think about this is that we're not pushing out our chest and holding our chin up. We're sort of sitting into our sit bones. Notice your sacral, the muscles below your belly button, just slightly engaged, but not firm, but allowing your belly to be very relaxed and opened. Because our belly is the chakra of our mental body. The more calm and relaxed we are in the center, the less mental chatter and the intellect. We're engaging less as we relax that center in the chakra. As well, when you're moving up, notice your heart, notice your breathing, which we will come back to. Just allow your hands and your heart chakra, as it's connected to your hands and your arms, allow your receiving posture, which is hands facing up on your lap or folded before you in the middle of your lap, whatever is available to you. Also, when you are in your posture, relax the jaw, relax your face muscles as well, because this is also related to the throat and your thinking nature. So the more relaxed this is, relaxing your jaw and allowing a subtle touch of your tip of your tongue to the palate, to the roof of your mouth. This allows the energy and a calm of mind and the energy to more aligned with the lower chakras. It begins to open a flow. Another good tip is to have a blanket or a shawl available so that when you get cool or if the temperature drops, as you become more calm and your body begins to shift with the environment, you'll notice it might be cool or your body temperature may regulate differently. It could be hotter or cooler. So have a layering device, something like a shawl or a wrapper or blanket nearby to be very helpful, because the more comfortable your body is, the calmer your body, the calmer your mind. Another thing is when you sit flat on the floor, you could either have your legs out or crossed. You can even use your wall or a furniture to prop you up a bit, whatever is most comfortable for you. You can even use a chair that has blocks on underneath your feet, so it props your knees up, so you're not putting pressure under your knees. And that's a really good tip. So now that we're prepared, we've got our room ready and our posture, we've got our blanket nearby in case we get cold, we also want to make the choice whether or not we want the environment to help us to settle into a peace and tranquil state. I advise that you use what you need in different states. Sometimes I don't need music or candles or aromatherapy diffuser with essential oils, although sometimes when I'm really stuck in a state, if I can't make a decision or I'm holding on to a low vibrational energy around something, I find a little bit more struggle to find my inner peace, so I use the environment to help me to get there. So that means it's okay to shut yourself into a quiet place, even if it's in the bathroom on a cushion on the floor and you have that little peace. But the end goal is we want to be able to find our center and to be an anchor within our inner being in any given moment. We don't want to have to rely on the environment in order to feel and hold those states from within. Here are some common blocks as to why you're having a difficult time getting to your meditation practice and building it up. The first one is the busyness syndrome. We think we don't have time, we're too tired, we don't have enough energy. We think that there's too many things to do on our to-do list. How can we let go and drop the ball and go internal? So if you are feeling like those are your excuses, then that is the number one block from being able to make mindfulness a part of your everyday living, an art of living. Because practicing where your conscious states can be carried into all areas of your life. If you know how to tap into your breath and feel your inner essence and simultaneously move around in your senses without trying or struggling, that is your meditation practice in any given moment. You're able to do so driving a car, park or waiting in a lineup, when you're in the middle of a busy conversation and you're feeling a little thrown off or emotional, anchor and ground yourself in those states. You could use these amazing practices to strengthen the inner muscle to become aware and conscious of all aspects of your inner being and externally, so we can be aware of our emotions, our thoughts, our mind, and what it is we truthfully feel. That is bringing mindfulness into every moment, is to become aware, to not be focused in a mental chatter on the past or to be worried and with an anxious state about the future. It's to be present. That is where the power is. Another major block in meditating is people fall asleep and they feel that they struggle to be conscious. Well, when we fall asleep, we probably are super tired and we could use some sleep, extra sleep, and you're finally giving yourself permission to tap in to your body and it's calling for sleep. But also the other side of that is that we are not the master of our mind. We're not paying attention to where we're letting that loose mind wander, and we want to pull ourselves back, which is why we use the tool, the breath as a tool, so that when we notice that we have gone into illusory state, we're thinking about the past or worried about the future, we're not in the moment, in the present moment. Sometimes we get so lost in that loose mental mind chatter that we go into an unconscious state, which is also the doorway to sleeping. So pull yourself back by noticing your breath, and we're going to talk about many other tools for your conscious awareness. So here's another block. And it's the block that you just have this internal dialogue, this self-sabotaging belief that you just can't. And you are frustrated because every time you sit down, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't. So the number one thing I want to tell you is to be okay with where you are. Sometimes I spend 40 minutes and it wasn't until the last 20 seconds where I actually connected with my inner being. Sometimes life is full and we take a little longer to reach our inner state, and that's okay. Every single meditation moment that you experience, it will be different, and it's not a competition. This is your unique personal journey. So you don't have to try to be an expert at meditation. It is meeting you where you are and being able to process whatever is going on in the ego and the subconscious mind at that moment, so that you can learn to shorten that lag time to become still and to become conscious. So honor where you are, etch out time in your day so that you could begin to practice. And whatever little steps that you make, even baby steps, will add up. Even baby steps reach the top of Mount Everest. The other thing is, if you are struggling with an internal dialogue that says you can't, there's a wonderful tool that I've learned from Kevin Carton, a wonderful mentor of mine, and he taught me the 3 words, up until now. So when you have anything, not even just about your belief around meditation, but anything in life, when you say something that you can't, replace it with these 3 words, up until now. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to talk now about the actual one-pointed focus, and then we're going to go into the senses. So the first of the 2 tools that we're learning here is the breathing technique, because these are all one-pointed focus tools. Breath. When we breathe in, we can breathe in for a count of 4 and an exhale of 6. And when we do that, notice when we breathe in, there's a pause before we let out. When we breathe out, just pause and notice what you're noticing, because in that brief moment is your consciousness observing from behind, from within. And that is your essence of your higher self that's connected to the infinite mind. In that state, you want to be able to hold that state longer and longer. So returning to the breath, counting in your inner mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, pausing for 1 and exhaling for 6. Pausing before you inhale again. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause and exhale. So that is one way, one-pointed focus using the breath to bring your awareness to a conscious state. The other one is where focus goes, where energy flows, where focus goes. And so if I were to have a busy intellectual mind and I wanted to calm it down, I would literally bring my hands up into my head and I feel the energy and I experience a calmness. And it's okay if you don't. With practice, you're literally bringing your awareness to a sensation, which is the trick, and you're becoming conscious, and you let your mind shift into a different state in between the bridge of your focus. Your focus was on my mental thought, and you want to stop it. You bring your hands and you begin to become aware of the energy and where we put our energy. Any part of our body Wherever we put our focus, the energy flows. So if you're trying to calm your anxious state, put it to your upper heart and your chest, your throat. Takes you away from your mind, your subconscious pull towards fight or flight. You could either bring it to the belly, and you can even place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. There's a multitude of beautiful energy benefits that this also does, but here for one of them is if I'm having a digestion or stress in my belly, when I place my hands on my belly, I bring a lot of energy and blood flow and focus, because where focus goes, energy flows. And we're able to connect and become calm, because a calm body is a calm mind, and we stop wreaking havoc on our immune system when we begin to start repairing in this homeostasis state. Okay, so here's another one-pointed focus, and it's the use of words, vocabulary. So if I'm unable to really focus on my breathing, or I get distracted in the environment, I could use a one-word phrase to help me to have less pull and give meaning to it and judge it. So for instance, if I'm meditating in a room and all of a sudden I hear a car go by or honk or emergency sirens or a police car in the background, I just say sound. I don't say, oh, police car, and make a story and then wonder and worry if the people are okay. I just allow myself to be okay in that moment, and I say sound. If I feel a discomfort and I need to move, I honor myself. I say feeling, and I adjust, noticing my breath and being conscious of what I'm noticing as I adjust. I don't attach myself to say, oh darn, I've got myself off meditation. No, I allow that to be a part of my meditation. These distractions and all things that are coming from the external environment and from within can both have a one-pointed focus, bring a word to generalize your interruption, and there will be least pull for you to follow it and then go unconscious. Because when you follow something, you attach meaning and give stories, and then you've lost yourself into an illusory imagination. Well, you've lost yourself into the sleep mode. So you want to stay conscious and have all of those wonderful and heightened senses, which we're going to talk about next, be available to you. So using one word is a very useful thing. So you can even use the word in for breath, or inhale, or exhale, or out. So in, out, or inhale, exhale. Those words help us. If we're not connecting with the breath so much, we could use words as our mind is as a vehicle into consciousness through words. So another way to use a one-pointed meditation tool is to choose a mantra, such as I am peace. Sometimes I prefer to tap into another tool before I use those, and that is the tool of gratitude. Find something in your life, current or in the past, that you're grateful for. Recall those moments where you were grateful and it soared your heart, and hold that memory and imagination in all your senses. And the deeper and richer that you could bring it to life, the more you'll be able to hold that up-level vibration and the expansion of consciousness. And then we start to affirm those mantras, such as, I am peace, I am love. And as we do so, we begin to amplify those states, because they are already a source. Those are our natural states, and it's already source within us, connected to the infinite source. We are one. So those are the tips for the one-pointed meditation focuses, using your mind as a tool, a vehicle into your consciousness. Here's another beautiful way, which is really mastering consciousness. This is where you can go beyond your physical senses and into your metaphysical senses, that connection to really be a channel to creativity and to really learn how to discern, make decisions, and to really trust your gut. So here's how I suggest that you practice is notice how you feel So externally, notice the environment, how it feels on your skin, the temperature, but also notice it on the internal. Notice the body temperature, where you're feeling tingles, where you're feeling any pressure or contraction or lightness. And again, we don't want to judge it or stay too long focusing on it and trying to figure out what it means at this stage. What we're doing is we're just using our senses and we're rotating. So allow yourself to feel externally the environment and how it feels. Maybe you're just noticing how your chair feels, or the clothes against your skin, or the warm breeze or the cool wind coming off a fan. Whatever that is for you, just notice it and just allow yourself to be a general focus on the most subtle sense of touch, or the most palpable one, such as maybe a bit of a tension in your shoulder. And as you notice these, every time you breathe, just allow yourself to notice something new. So breathing in, I notice the tension, I breathe it out, allow that tension to relax. And now on my next breath or so, I allow myself to feel something more. And then we're just releasing, noticing and releasing, noticing, releasing. Then we want to also go through the emotions. We could start to, now that we went to feeling, we can go to sensing and emotions. You might be feeling neutral and wonderful. That's great. This is an internal observation. And then release it and notice again. Calm. You don't put words to it, you just notice it. And if you are having emotions, if you are carrying something from your day, acknowledge it. This is a beautiful place to acknowledge that feeling. And then as you breathe in and out, you release it. Trust that it is going to be okay, because when we get all of these senses open, clarity comes. So trust the process. So the next one is, as you begin to notice the feeling in your palpable body and internal, your emotions, we want to go up and we also want to go into what we hear with our eyes, what we smell, what we taste, and most importantly, we want to rotate through what we see into our mind's eye, our inner vision, which is a portal into thyself, truly see into thyself. So when we're rotating through what I see, hear, feel, know, smell, and taste, and I release whatever comes up with love, and I hang out with each release, I'm pausing, noticing what I'm noticing. And so as we become to do that, the second part of this is to begin to simultaneously welcome all senses at once. When we simultaneously allow ourselves to pay attention to all the senses at once, we begin to experience a state where we're not willing ourselves to see. We're not trying to force ourselves to feel. We're not saying, oh, how does this chair feel? You're not dictating where you're going. You're allowing your senses to guide you. This is an intuitive portal into communicating with your higher self. And so this is, to master this is to be a master of your knowing thyself, and to be able to articulate your emotions, to live a more authentic life, to be able to have faster resolution-oriented reactions, to act less from an old pattern and to recreate new ones. It's a beautiful place for healing. So in your practice over the next week, I wish you all the best and blessings to you.